Imagine a world where you don't have a wallet, no banks, no credit cards, no salary. And the strangest part, money means absolutely nothing. If you need food, you get it yourself. If you need a house, you build it together with other people. If you're hungry, your neighbor shares meat with you not because you paid him, but because one day you might help him survive too. For almost all of human history, this is how people lived. Money is actually a very recent invention, and humanity didn't create it because people suddenly became greedy. Everything started because of one problem. People stopped knowing each other personally. In small ancient tribes, money was meaningless. In groups of 30 to 50 people, everyone knew each other. You knew who was good at hunting, who made the best spears, who was lazy, who always helped others. The entire system was built not on coins, but on trust. If a hunter brought back meat, he shared it with everyone, because tomorrow he might return empty-handed, and then the others would help him survive. This wasn't trade in the modern sense. It was an exchange of relationships. People simply remembered who was a good person, and that was enough. But then everything changed. Humans began farming. People stopped constantly moving and started building villages. Villages became bigger. 50 people turned into 500, then into thousands, and suddenly a new problem appeared. You no longer knew everyone personally. You could meet a complete stranger who wanted to trade grain for fish. But could you trust him? What if he cheated you? What if he disappeared tomorrow? The old system of trust started collapsing. So humanity tried to invent something universal, something everyone could trust. At first, money didn't even look like money. Different parts of the world used completely strange objects: shells, salt, beautiful stones, pieces of metal, animal skins. In some civilizations, people paid with dried cacao beans. On Pacific Islands, people used giant stone discs the size of a human. And the strangest part, sometimes those stones were so heavy, nobody could even move them. People simply knew who owned the stone. And somehow that was enough. Because money only works for one reason: people believe it has value. Eventually, humanity realized that some materials work better as money than others, especially metal. It lasts a long time. It's hard to destroy. It can be divided into smaller pieces, and it's easy to carry. That's how the first coins appeared. Around 2,600 years ago, people in the ancient kingdom of Lydia began using metal coins for trade, and it changed the world forever. Now value could fit inside your pocket. Trade became easier. People could buy things from complete strangers. But money also created a new problem. People could now accumulate wealth. Before money, if you had too much food, it simply rotted away. But gold doesn't rot. Coins don't decay. And for the first time in history, humans could store enormous amounts of wealth. Rich people appeared. Poor people appeared. Debt appeared. Taxes appeared. People began controlling the money of other people. And slowly, money started controlling almost every part of human life. But the strangest thing came later: paper money. Imagine explaining paper bills to an ancient human. You tell him, "This piece of paper is worth an entire bag of grain." It would sound insane. But people accepted it, because governments promised the paper had value. And once again, everything depended entirely on trust. In fact, most modern money doesn't even physically exist anymore. Most of the world's money is simply numbers inside computers. It has no natural value. You can't eat money. You can't build a house out of a bank account. Money only works because billions of humans collectively agree to believe in the same illusion. And maybe that makes money the most successful shared fiction in human history. Because money allows complete strangers to trust one another. You walk into a store. The cashier doesn't know you personally, but they still give you food, because they believe those numbers on your card mean something. The entire modern world depends on that belief. If humanity suddenly stopped believing in money, the global economy would collapse within days. But money changed more than trade. It changed humans themselves. Once you were part of a tribe. Now you are part of an economy. Your time became a product. People started selling hours of their lives in exchange for numbers. And eventually humanity accepted the idea that almost everything could be measured with money. Time, food, land, homes, even human attention. Today, some people spend their entire lives chasing wealth, working for decades just to increase numbers on a screen, buying things they don't actually need, comparing themselves to others constantly, and sometimes forgetting the strangest fact of all. Money is not a law of nature. It's an idea, a massive collective story humanity agreed to believe in. And the more civilization evolves, the stranger money becomes. Long ago, people traded fish for animal skins, then gold for goods. Today, humans buy digital images, virtual items, and cryptocurrencies that cannot even be physically touched. Humanity is drifting further and further away from physical reality. And maybe in 100 years, money won't exist in the form we recognize today. But the most interesting thing is this: money never replaced the thing ancient tribes relied on most: trust, friendship, mutual help, human connection. Because even today, in a world of banks, cards, and massive fortunes, humans still need other humans. And maybe that is the one thing that will never change.